want to talk about what I think is the real question on the minds of millions of people right now across this country. And that is, who does our government really work for? Does it work for me? Or does it just work for the rich and the powerful? Have we built a system where the rich and the powerful get all the attention they need? They get the rules they need, from the very biggest to the very smallest, the ones that always tilt in their direction, the ones that ultimately rig the game? Or are we an America that builds a government that works for all of us? I think that's the question people ask. And I think the answer right now is not a happy answer. The answer is we've got a government that works all too well for the rich and the powerful, and all too little for everyone else. And we're here tonight because we're going to change that. That's what we're here for. Change is tough. We know change is tough. So how do we go about it? Well, a big part of it is exactly what Eric talked about. He's laid out the blueprint. You're lucky right now. You're in New York. You've got a chance to build something to make a difference. Your governor has said, let's attack money and politics head on. Let's go for campaign finance reform. All I can say is go, 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 go. Do this. It's right. But it's more than that. Because it's every place at every issue where the field is tilted a little, where the game is rigged a lot. And we're going to have to fight this fight head on money and politics. But we're also going to have to fight it issue by issue by issue. Because it's issue by issue by issue that more people across America hear it. A line here, a phrase there, that they start to connect up to their lives. This one matters to me. You're talking about something that affects my life. And you're starting to tell me, you're telling me, there's a little hope. There's a way to do better on this. So I just want to talk for just a second about a few of the issues that help us define the progressive movement, that help us talk about in very concrete, real terms, what does it mean to be there for all of us? What does it mean to build a future, not just for some of our children, but for all of our children? So I want to start that one by just saying, we got to talk about education every single day. The mayor, by saying we're going to have universal preschool here in New York. Yes. But every time you think about what the mayor has done, and it is remarkable, he has put this issue in front of the people of New York City. But remember how he had to fight. Why is it a fight about sending 4-year-olds to preschool? Anyone read the science on that? This is what we should be doing. Anyone doubt the benefits of making this investment early on? But the reality is, you got to pay for it. And to pay for it, that meant a little less money in the pockets of those who have outsized influence. The mayor should be commended because he put straight on the table, this is about our values, this is about how we build a future. We can either continue to invest in those who've already made it, or we can say, pay a fair share and invest in all of our kids so they've got a chance to make it. That's what we do. And we're going to take that same fight up at the federal level, and we're going to talk about it with those kids who are trying to get an education post-high school. We're going to talk about this with kids who are trying to get a college education, and with people who have gone to college, who have invested in their educations, and who are now being crushed by student loan debt. So here's one. I want you to think about this. You want to understand about a playing field that's tilted? Right now, let's just think about two different groups. One group are people, let's just pick randomly, people who make a lot of money from investments in hedge funds. Okay? And they get taxed, we all know this, we've been through this conversation, they get taxed at rates that are lower than those of their secretaries. Okay? So we've got a group here that pays a very low tax rate. Who makes up the difference in the billions of dollars that are lost in tax revenue because they got a special break on carried interest? Who makes up that difference? Well, I'll give you at least one group that makes up that difference. Everybody who took out a loan to try to go to school. The United States government is on track to make $185 billion over the next 10 years in profits off our student loan program. That is the federally subsidized student loan program. It will make $185 billion in profit. Why? So that someone else gets a very special tax break. That is fundamentally wrong, and that's what we're going to fight. We're ready for this fight because it's one more example of a rigged playing field. We're ready for this fight because we want people to understand, just like you did here in New York City, there are choices to be made. How we spend our money reflects our values. We can spend our money on tax breaks for the richest and most powerful, for those who can hire an army of lobbyists and an army of lawyers, or we can spend our money on our young people who are trying to get educated and build themselves a future. So we're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about Wall Street regulation. Yep, we're still going to be talking about it. We're going to talk about those banks. We're going to make sure that our banking regulators pick up the tools that are available to them and enforce the laws that are already written. That's an important first step. And we are going to make sure that people understand too big to fail is still out there, and we are prepared to fight back. We are not going to let these banks